In today's lesson, we are going to be looking at finding a percentage of an amount using 10%. So if we remember, the most important thing here is to find 10%, you divide by 10. We are going to be using this fact over and over, so this is really important that you remember this off by heart. So to find 10%, you divide by 10. And we're going to start off by looking at a couple of examples of this. So number one, 10% of 1,500. So this 1,500 here is our 100% amount, it's our full amount. So I'm going to write down 100% equals 1,500. And like we just said, to find 10%, you divide by 10. So you need to divide the value by 10. That means we need to do 1,500 divided by 10. Now remember, the cheat way, the trick, is to just take off a 0. So we know our answer is going to be 150. But remember, actually the numbers move one place to the right. Now alternatively, if you don't like the layout of this, we can just write to find 10% and try and show what percentage you're finding at the front always. You take the full amount, so you take the 1,500, and like we said, we need to divide it by 10. So 1,500 divided by 10 is 150. The most important thing with your workings here is that you are showing that you know to divide by 10. So that divide by 10 must be seen. So example 2, 10% of 32. So again, this 32 is our full amount. It's our 100% value. So 100% is 32. Again, we need to go to 10%. So to find 10%, you divide by 10. So we need to do 32 divided by 10. Now remember your place value here. We've got tens, we've got units, and we've got our decimal point after, and then it becomes a tenths. Because we can't just take a 0 off here because we haven't got one. So we have to move this number one place to the right. So the 2 is going to move into your tenths column after the decimal point, and your 3 is going to move to your units to give you the answer of 3.2. So 32 divided by 10 is 3.2. Alternatively, we can write 10% equals, remember you take the amount, so you take your 32 and you divide it by 10. And like we said, 32 divided by 10 gives you 3.2. Now today we're going to extend this further. So how can we work out different percentages using 10%? So here you can see in this diagram we've got a 40 in the middle, so that's our full amount, and you can see it says 100% equals 40. They've also given us 10% is 4, and we know this because 40 divided by 10 is 4. But you can see we've got gaps now for 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%, etc. So we're going to show how we can work these. And we can work these out by always using that 10% value. So to get to 20%, for example, we're going to use that 10%, but think of how many of them we need. So we need 2 lots of this 10% to get to 20, because 10 and 10 is 20. So if we take 2 lots of it, we take our answer of 10%, we take our 4, and we're going to times it by 2. 4 times 2 is 8. So 20% of 40 gives us 8. 30% then, again, we use our 10% value and think about how many lots of it we need. Well, 10, 20, 30, we need 3 lots of it. So we take the answer from 10%, we take the 4 and times it by 3. 4 times 3 is 12. Okay, again, 40%, we use our 10% value and think of how many lots of it we need. 10 lots of 4 gives us 40. So we need 4 lots of our 10%. So we take our amount and we times it by 4. 4 fours are 16. And some of you may be starting to see a pattern. So 4, 8, 12, 16, we're going round in the 4 times table. And that's because you are taking a certain amount of this 10%. So 50%, we know 2 ways of doing this. We can either take our full amount, our 40, and halve it to get us that 20, or you could take 5 lots of 10%. So 4 times 5 is 20. So just to reiterate, 60%, you use your 10%, and we need 6 lots of it. So we take our 4 and times it by 6 to give you 24. 70% the same, we take the 10% and we want 7 lots of it. So 4 times 7, 28. And you can probably carry on. So 80% is going to be 8 lots of that 10%. So 4 times 8, 32. And then finally 90%, 9 lots of that 4. So 4 times 9, 36. And you can see it's the full 4 times table going around the circle. Okay, now using these, there are lots of different ways to work out percentages, but these are really important facts that will get you there quickly. So we're going to be using this now to work out some examples. So 30% of 90. So remember, our 90 is our 100%. So 100% is 90, it's our full amount. Now we cannot get to 30% straight away. We have to use that 10% value. So we have to do 10% first, and to find 10%, you divide by 10. So we take our 90 and divide it by 10. 90 divided by 10 is 9. Now we've got our 10%, we can get to our 30%. So 10 to 30, we need 3 lots of it, 10, 20, 30. So we need to times it by 3. So you take the 9 and you times it by 3. 9 times 3 is 27. Just in case you don't like that layout, again, you can show 10% is just going to be that full amount, so the 90, and you divide it by 10 to give you 9. And then, like we said, you need to find the 30%. So you take the 10%, you take the 9, and you times it by 3 to give you 27. Now, both of these methods are showing the same thing. It just depends which way you'd rather write it. Question 2 then, 70% of 60. So again, the 60 is our full amount. So 100% is 60. Again, we can't get to 70% straight away, so we have to go to 10% first. So to find 10%, you divide by 10. So 60 divided by 10 gives us 6. Now we can get to our 70% in the question, so we can write our 70% below. 10 to 70%, we need 7 lots of 10 to get to 70%, so we need to times it by 7. So we have to do the same here, so 6 times 7, so we can use 6 6s are 36, and add another 6 on to take us to 42. So 6 times 7 is 42. Again, if you'd rather write it like this, so again we found our 10% first, so we can take our full amount, so we take our 60 and divide it by 10 to give us 6. And then again we needed to get to 70%, so you take your answer from your 10% and you times it by 7, so 6 7s, 42. Example 3 then, 40% of 800. So 800 is our full amount. We can't get to 40% straight away, we have to find our 10% first. So to find 10%, you have to divide by 10. Now be careful here, remember divided by 10, you're only moving those numbers one place to the right, so you're only taking off 1 0, not both. So 10% is 80. Now we can get to our 40%. So how many lots of that 10% do we need? 10 lots of 4 gives you 40. We need to times it by 4. So 80 times 4. Remember, do 8 times 4 first and then we can add the 0 on the end. So 8 times 4 is 32, and keep that 0 on to give you 320. So again, just in case you rather it this way, 10% is going to be that 800 divided by 10, which we said was 80. And then to 40%, you take your answer from your 10% and you times it by 4 to give you 320. Example 4. So I'm only going to show you the first way this time, but if you prefer writing it in that method, write it down that way. So 100% is our full amount, which is our 1,100 here. So 80% of 1,100, the 1,100 is our 100%. We can't get to 80% straight away, so we have to find 10% first. So we need to divide by 10. So 1,100 divided by 10, again, do the cheat way, take off a 0, gives you 110. So 10% is 110. Now we can jump straight up to 80%. How many lots of this 10% do we need? We want to times it by 8. So we have to do 110 times 8. So look at that 11 there. So do 11 times 8 is 88, and then add that 0 on the end. So 110 times 8 gives you 880 for 80%. Example 5 then, so 60% of 150. So again, 150 is our full amount, so 100% is 150. We can't get to 60% straight away, so we're going to work out 10% first. Our 10% will always get us there. So we want to divide by 10 to find 10%. So we're going to take that 150 and divide it by 10 to give us 15. Now we want our 60%, so we need to think how many lots of this 10% do we need to get to 60, and we times by 6. So we now have 15 times 6. So you can either do a little multiplication, or you can write your 15s going down the side. So we know 15 add 15 is 30. Add on another 15 takes you to 45. Add on another 15, so 10, then a 5, we get to 60. Again, 15, so add 10, 70, add 5, 75. And finally our sixth one, add 10 first, so 85, and then the 5, 90. So 6 times 15 is 90. Last example then, so we've got 20% of 372. So 372 is our full amount, so 100% is 372. We can't get to 20% straight away, so we find our 10% first. And like we've been saying, 10% you always divide by 10. So we're going to have 372 divided by 10. So again, there's no 0 to get rid of here, so we need to think, move those digits one place to the right. So remember, you have your decimal point here, this is your units, tens and hundreds, and it's your tenths column after. So the 2 is going to move to the tenths, the 7 is going to move into the units, and the 3 is going to move into the tens to give you 37.2. Now we're going to use our 10% to get to our 20%. And how many lots of 10 do we need? We need 2 lots, so we need to times by 2. So we've got 37.2 times 2. Now another way of timesing by 2 is adding this number on. So you can do 37.2, add 37.2 if you like, to give us 2 add 2 is 4, 7 add 7 is 14, so carry the 1, 3 and 3 is 6, add 1 gives you 7, so it gives you 74.4 as your final answer.